This is no.
The big question is, what the fuck should happen to VAR, basically?
You know what? It's actually disgraceful. I've tweeted this so many times.
Oh.
They literally had 3 months last season where it was off. There was nothing happening. They could have just sat down all together and reviewed all the clubs, every single club, reviewed VAR and how it was working and what could have happened with it in the going forwards. And they haven't done it. And as a result, they've let the fans down because we keep having to put up with these bollocks decisions. They let themselves down because they keep getting shafted by it. I would say scrap it for next season until they can figure out what the rules are and how to properly use it.
We'll bring in the poll before we ask Jamie his opinion. I put a poll out, what is the main problem with VAR? And it's 50-50 between the actual law that the VAR goes by and 50% the referees that are actually using the system itself. So they didn't have a problem with the concept of VAR. I don't think many people do because it's virtual assistant refereeing, it's going to help you. No one really had a problem with the consistency. I think the consistency has improved. Louise and Bednarak's separate incidents being an example of that.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, where do you stand? What? I mean, we talk about offside, you can talk about handball, but where do you stand on VAR in terms of what to do with it next?
I think it is consistency, but mainly the rules just need to be changed. Because some of the rules are just fucking stupid. Like, if they're going, I feel like offside's going to have controversy no matter how we judge offside. Like, if we say off the shoulder, people they'll all just always moan that it's too tight to call. But the handball rule, I don't understand anymore.
Yeah,
I feel like it was better. It was better at one point when it was just like, if it hits the hand, it's a penalty, because at least there's consistency there, and you knew what decision they were going to make. But when I look at handball reviews now, I've just got no idea what they're going to say.
Yeah, literally, there's so much uncertainty surrounding it.
Go on.
There's so many decisions. Like, it used to sort of be when I saw a VAR review and I was watching the replay, it was like I sort of knew what was going to happen. But it's like there's times now where I'm like watching the VAR review and I'm just sat there like I have no idea what decision they're going to make. And I feel like it should be more clear to the fans. Like, the fans should be able to look at it and think, yeah, this decision is going to be made. But the fact that it's just so unclear and you're just watching it thinking, what the fuck's going to happen now?
There's an element of surprise, which in one aspect is quite entertaining, but in other aspects it's just crap.
Yeah, when it's going against your team, and you just sat there just like a fucking nervous wreck thinking, what the fuck are we going to do now?
Yeah, literally, like whenever a goal's scored, you're hesitant to like celebrate it because...
Yeah, there's nothing worse than a VAR review that's meant to be going against you.
Yeah.
When you just sat there waiting for it.
In terms of the offside, I'm in agreement with you. There's always going to be controversy there because, I mean, at the end of the day, if your toe's offside, your toe's offside. You're offside. And if you give the benefit of the doubt to the attacker, then that's harsh on defenders. And I know defenders don't play the offside trap, so like your toe's offside. But if you were a defender and you saw that and you're like, the goal stood, but he's actually offside. We've done our job, but we've still conceded because of a benefit of the doubt rule. So the offside is a hard one to get right, and I don't think they're ever going to get it that pleases everyone.
I feel like VR has gotten worse like over the past few months. I swear it wasn't like, I knew it was always controversial, but I swear like in recent months, it's just like, recent weeks, it's gotten insane where you just don't know what's going on anymore. But I swear it wasn't this bad a few months ago.
No,
it was never this bad.
I agree.
There's so many decisions being pulled out the hat now, and that's what it feels like. It literally feels like it's being pulled out of a hat randomly. They're just going to criticize any decision. It's like
you go back to the 2018 World Cup where they brought it in for the first time on a major stage. That was exactly how we should use it. It was perfectly trialed there. Since then, especially in the Premier League, it's gone tits up.
Yeah, I was actually excited for it to be included in the Premier League after the 2018 World Cup because it was used so well there. But
I think the main thing with me is that just clear and obvious error needs to go out the window.
Yeah,
It should either be a foul or not be a foul,
yeah.
or
the
be a
whole clear and
handball
obvious
or not be
thing
a handball.
is just clouding everyone's judgment. Like,
Clear and obvious errors doesn't make sense because then it just makes it opinionated, and it shouldn't be opinionated. It should be facts. It's either a penalty or not a penalty, or a red card or not a red card.
yeah,
I do respect that any decision they make is such a tough decision. And especially, I've seen some people, and I think you mentioned it a minute ago, Jamie, about intent with handball. You can't judge intent with VAR. You can go to the screens. You can't know if a player meant it or not. So I don't think that can be brought in as a rule.
I don't actually know what the handball rule is now. At the start of the season, when it was like, if it hits your hand, it's a penalty, I knew what the rule was. But I don't actually know what the rule is now. Like, I don't know how far.
everyone is confused by it.
I don't know how far out your arm needs to be before it's considered deliberate or unnatural.
Exactly.
I don't really know what's going on, to be honest. I think that's everyone's main issue with it.
What's your opinion on that Man City goal against Villa, where they won the ball back from the offside position, went on and scored? That was allowed in the rules, but then they changed the rule about a couple of days later, so that can't happen again. What's your view on that?
Yeah, they're trying to improve it as we go along, because everyone was complaining about handball at the start of the season, and then they changed that, and now we've had complaints about that offside rule, and now that's been changed. So at least it won't happen again. Well, hopefully, but yeah, but at the time it did seem bollocks, because people could have just stood 10 yards behind the fucking defense and waited for a bad touch.
Yeah.
So, but at least we have actually changed it, which that does help. That they're actually trying to improve at least.
The thing is, I saw someone or someone said this to me or something. I guarantee on that game, the Man City Villa, the players didn't know the rule. I don't think the players would have known that you could do that, because, like, to a normal person, you think that's offside, surely, because you come from an offside position and won the ball back. So I don't think the players knew that was a loophole.
Yeah, but that's the players' fault. Like, I think someone was saying yesterday that David Luiz should know the rules. Like, the players should know. The players should know every single rule. Like, they shouldn't be like debating their head, like, if I do this, is it going to be illegal, or if I do that, it should just be nailed on. They know it. That's literally their job. We should know the rules of their job.
But the rules keep changing, as you said, so it's hard to keep on top of what is legal and what isn't legal.
Well, yeah, but it's their job, isn't it? Like, they're getting paid enough money. I'm sure we can do a bit of research.
That is true. And I agree with what Max said right at the start of this big question, that they had that 3-month period where you could review VAR and have a complete overhaul, and no one will complain because there was a break. You can have a clear distinction between pre-lockdown and post-lockdown, the rule changes. While now, if they did an overhaul just randomly, then you'd see half of the season, and there's not really been a break, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But
they need to use the off season this season to review it. Obviously, because they let us down massively by not doing it last season.
I disagree with you, Max, when you said scrap it for one season, because I mean, next season, some like VAR, it does work. Some clear offsides that slips past the linesman, and the VAR flags it up. That's what it's there for. And if that happened
I've got a theory
in the season it was off, then how would you feel? It was, last season that wouldn't happen because VAR was there. I think if you take it away for a season,
are we just blowing VAR out of proportion because we're only seeing the wrong decisions it's making compared to the right decisions? So we're just scrutinising the wrong decisions. When was the last time
VAR? Well, that's what happens. VAR, if it makes a good decision, it's done its job. Well done.
Yeah.
Round of applause. But if
when was the last time VAR didn't make a controversial decision?
Well, there's loads that just go past you because you don't talk about it because that's what's there.
Exactly. Like so maybe VAR's actually getting more right than we think.
Yeah, definitely is.
That's why you shouldn't get rid of it, because it is.
Yeah.
There are clear and obvious offsides that slip the referee and the linesman. That
VAR it makes far less mistakes than than when before we had VAR. But because you expect them to get every single one right now, because they've got loads of replays. When they get one wrong, it's like shocking because you expect them to just get every single one right, but it's still 10 times better than what it was beforehand.
What I want to see with the consistency is going to the monitors. I've seen it with a few games, but they need to use the monitors more because they're there. And
We should use the monitors every time, really.
Yeah.
They shouldn't
Unless
be
it's unless it's clear and the person at Stockley Park goes, yeah, that's 2 meters or so offside. They've made a terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't
play
go to monitors for offsides anyway, do we?
No, not really. But they just you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you change it, people are going to hate it. It's very fine line, and I mean, I don't envy the person who has to make the decision.
I think every controversial decision just has to be have to look at the monitor. So then there's just no debate of whether they should or shouldn't go to the monitor. Like, if it happens, they have to go and see it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, people are gonna keep complaining like, why has he not gone to the monitor for this decision and this one? But if you just go to the monitor every time, and there can't be any complaints. But then people moan that it's slowing the game down too much. That's a lot of people's biggest fucking worry with VAR is that it wastes too much time. Like, the amount of time BT commentators despise it whenever a VAR takes a long time to do something. Like, they mention it every time.
Back to similarly to Max's point, now is a perfect time because fans aren't in grounds. So if you were going to tweak it, you do it now, because when fans are back in grounds, the last thing they want is to wait 4 or 5 minutes of a VAR call that they don't even know what it's for, usually. So while fans aren't in stadiums, maybe use that to their advantage and kind of tweak it, I think.
Yeah, the lucky fans aren't in stadiums at the moment because it'd get fucking toxic in there if fans were with some of these decisions.
Yeah, no, totally.
Especially with Arsenal. Fucking hell, imagine that. Imagine if there's fans in the Emirates at the moment.
Yeah.
There's fucking riots.
That would be an ugly scene. So I think overall, keep VAR.
No one really knows. No one knows.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's going to keep having these debates, but no one's going to come to a conclusion.
Yeah. And another quick thing. In any walk of life, in any sport, the official, the referee on the pitch or on the court or whatever sport, they're in charge. They make the final decision. So what they need to go to the monitor, decide for themselves, and the on-field referee's decision is final. And I think that needs to. It happens most of the time, but a few times maybe they're kind of told in their ear. So I think they need to take a bit more authority at the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be controversies no matter what. We just need to complain a bit less.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's going to get a decision wrong no matter what.
Yeah, and it is evenly handed out as well. I think not one team has benefited from VAR more than another this season.
As much as Arsenal fans like to think everyone's against them, it is literally like everyone gets the same amount of shit.
Yeah, really. Everyone gets the same sort of. It balances out over the season, so you can't.
Yeah. And we need to get to a point where we're not talking about VAR.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, and we'll always talk about VAR, but it shouldn't be the main topic of conversation. Like the United game, as I mentioned earlier, we should be talking about United beating Southampton 9-0, not, is that a penalty? VAR's a load of crap. It should be less down the agenda when talking about a football match.
It should be, but everyone, when you look at like fucking BT and TalkSport and all that, VAR is just what people want to listen to at the moment because everyone wants to moan about it.
Everyone wants to.
Everyone's just going to focus on that because people want to hear people moan about it because everyone sort of hates it.
Yeah,